And hello, everybody. It is I, the Heroscaper, back live once again after a holiday hiatus. Just been kind of busy painting my previous waves, getting things fixed over here on the digital side. But I am happy to be back doing some more live painting. I decided to do this guy live because he's very similar to the Eisenex, which I just finished, and I'm really happy with it. We'll be using a very similar method for them. They came out pretty cool. So this is a great way if you're looking to paint some yellow, some classic yellow, which was the most requested color for this guy, beating out green, blue, and Iron Man red. So if you want to get some classic yellow, kind of learn how to deal with this good color, it's a great, found a good formula that may help you in your endeavors. So I guess without further ado, let's get started and start painting this guy. Now I'm trying a different angle. My face isn't here today. I figured having two angles would be cool. I'm gonna review this afterwards and see if I like it, if it's worth all the extra effort. I switched to my phone as a webcam, just to get a bit better focus. I haven't been fully happy with my focal range on the current lens I have. I think it's just I currently just have the kit lens for my camera, so it's good for um, when I can a bit more control of it, but live stream is just not doing the best. Um, so yeah, that's how I'm doing. I hope everyone's doing really great. Um, and let's just dive right into it. And so first off, we are going to be using kind of some color theory to really maximize and create a really strong, prominent yellow with some good shading. First off, I'm going to use a very strong Wicked Pink as kind of the base layer for the Iron Lich. Kind of build off that. We're going to be using some speed paint techniques and really show you how to kind of maximize this. Just want a bit of moisture in your brush, and now doing this will kind of create a very strong orangish yellow when we kind of use this technique. If you want it a bit softer, not as kind of loud, you can certainly use more of a softer pink, like a more of a close to a flesh tone, and you get some more milder results. I know I just want my Iron Lich to be proud and vibrant, really demand presence on the battlefield. So we're gonna go with this really strong hot pink first off. And I'm gonna get some music playing because I cannot hear anything. And hello, Beatdown Magic. Thanks for joining the stream. I hope you're doing good this Thursday evening. All right, let's get this pink going on here. This is a really fun unit to play with in Heroscape. I've won a couple games with him against people that didn't really know what they're doing, so I don't know if it counts as to his general abilities, but he's pretty cool. I mean, if you aren't the best unit, at least you can look cool on the battlefield. And just getting things all touched up your bears and watching you. So yeah, multitasking. Well, I am happy to have you here. If you have any questions or uh, any quandaries you want me to get me sidetracked on this, I'd be happy to accommodate. Yeah, the bears are fun. I got the new harpoon bears, and I like those models a whole lot more than the frost claws, just because of the angles of them and the little red lights add some fun distinctions to them. But they're really fun models, nice and chunky bears. Ocean Man. Woo. Now, if I wasn't doing this on stream, I would probably just airbrush all this to save me a lot of time. But I know a lot of people getting into Heroscape don't have airbrushes, so I typically avoid that for stuff like this. And we're just putting a nice solid coat on. I don't like priming in white typically. It's just, uh, I don't know, I like the shading and the shadows that come from priming black. I didn't prime black today because black, in most cases, is actually just a very dark blue. In paints, it's rare to get a true black. So when you put yellow on top of black, it creates green, kind of greenish color. And we're going for really nice, vibrant um, yellow today. Orange is yellow. Only 12 holidays of the 12 nightmares of the holiday special. Yeah, that's not even enough. I recently saw Ocean Man, who's a good friend of mine, visited with some other friends over this last weekend, and we watched the Star Wars holiday special, which is a it's a journey into the abyss, to say the least. And beat down man. I went down with the brown bears, not the white. I actually did some brown bear variants. Let's see here. Maybe if I have some layers drying, I'll paint some more. So this is kind of what I did here, just to get some of those painted. I like having two sets. The brown bears are considerably easier to do, and I like the contrast of it. It is not a bad colorization to go with at all. And just get back in the swing of things after my very long holiday. It's also just been really cold. Like it's been like like 10 degrees outside. So my studio's in the garage. So it's been a bit cold to go live and paint. So it's good to be back. I'm sorry if the audio has some feedback on it. That is the heater at my feet keeping me going. Yeah, I do agree the brown looks really great. I hope they make some official kind of grizzly bears to go along with it. But it's a great color alt. It's a I'll tell you this. I'm actually currently working on a video where since I just finished wave one and wave two, I'm working on a video where I talk about my experience painting all the units so far. And the polar bears, while they look pretty good when they're all finished, they just take so long to layer white, and the angle of them just makes it really hard to doesn't give you a lot of wiggle room. So I totally am for the brown bears instead of the white ones. White with blue armor, yeah, you can't go wrong with that either. I mean, that's the blue armor is fun. I've been trying to practice some non-metallics on that just each time. That's kind of why I've been doing that variant just to improve my blending and my kind of trying to create more of a metallic look on it. Uh, but yeah, that's the most common color alts I've seen is the brown and the blue. But I haven't seen white with blue armor. Not I think I've seen a couple, but I like actually, no, I haven't. I've seen brown with blue armor, but not white with blue armor. So I think that's a lot more distinctive look for him. Now, right now, we're turning this Iron Lich into a Barbie girl, and you can certainly keep it like that if you want. But we're going to be doing some using some contrast to really kind of bring out, really maximize the colors we're using here. I don't use speed paints a lot. Admittedly, it's not like I degrade anyone for using them or I think less anyone for using them. It's just kind of a different skill set. I really love building texture, and you have to kind of approach texture differently when you use speed paint. But there's some good uses, as I think we'll, if we get to that point today, I may just spend an hour talking and uh, just putting pink on. We'll see. We'll see how long we can go. And we're just trying to apply this smooth, trying to avoid streaking. The good thing about these guys, if you get a little bit of texture with the paint, it's not terrible because that will kind of just, you know, we're going to be doing a lot of dry brushing and stuff to really build up that innate texture. So I'm keeping my paints pretty thin, just trying to kind of smooth over it. You can also probably use speed paints on this part if you wanted this application to be a bit faster, but I didn't have any good pink speed paints on hand, so I'm just kind of applying thin coats and working around, working kind of fast on this. Yeah, they're you have to really, I like them as more for glazing. I mix them with medium and there's some fun tips you can use for them, but it's I don't find them any easier than just standard painting. It's kind of my hot take. I think I've had just so many times I've used speed paint and they just kind of blend into my already painted work, or they flow weird, and I don't know. It's I don't fault anyone for using them. I think they're a really great tool to have in your toolkit. I think they're fast. I don't necessarily think that they're easy. I've seen some really good artists work with speed paint. There's an artist called Don Serratos who does crazy things with. He's kind of revolutionizing technique actually I'll be using today, which is he calls chop chop or double speed paint. Pretty much you kind of put your base layer down, dry brush white, apply the speed paint, and then put another layer over that with another dry brush to really kind of highlight the colors and create some innate contrast in the model. Having fun recently with alcohol ink removal on figures. I haven't ventured into that yet, uh, but that does sound fun. I'll have to look into exactly what that means. Alcohol ink, because I've been wanting to go into oils. That's my next step, is to invest in some oil paints and try those out. I think I might fall in love with those. But alcohol ink removal, huh? I'll definitely pin that and look that up later. I assume it's kind of like reductive technique where you apply it and then kind of remove it with the alcohol layer. But I could be wrong on that. Or apply it, remove it with alcohol rather. I'm sorry. Like with rocks and stuff. Pete, I don't know if you're referring to the speed paints or something else, but maybe, maybe. Caught me monologuing. I forgot what I was saying. I already painted a version of this Iron Lich here, and he was a nice royal purple, which I was really happy with. But unfortunately, that was a commission, and I didn't get to keep it. So most of my commission work is the stuff I'm most proud of, but it's also the stuff I just don't get to keep. So I was like looking at my collection the other day. I was like, oh wait, I just keep all the stuff that's kind of no one else wants. Reductive. It's like a wash that you control. Oh, that's really cool. I'll definitely look into that because that sounds pretty fun. I've been doing some of Pro Acryl's Noosh, which is kind of a similar technique where you apply it and then you use like a makeup brush to kind of, it's great for like dirtying and adding some grime to a model. All right, let's see here. Thinking what parts do I want to be iron and what parts do I want to be not iron is the question. And this is just a hard model. There's not a really good way to put it on a handle or anything. You just gotta kind of move it around. Fortunately, I'm a klutzy individual. This and the Hellforge are just hard to hard to put on a little stand and work around. Um, I've painted a couple of the Hellforges so far, and I do like that model, but it's a hard one to handle. Just look how much they put onto the base. It's a whole lot of a figure. Would love to see that. Maybe the Lich Lord would need some grime. Yeah, I plan on making a separate video on how to add some rust and grime to your Eisenecks. Using some different techniques. I've tried the rust medium from what's that brand? I have it nearby. The Dirty Down. I kind of like that stuff. That stuff's pretty. It's good. It's a little toxic, and the Army Painter has some good kind of texture rust. Then there's Noosh from Pro Acryl, which is pretty nice to add kind of like a general grime wash, oil wash to it. So there's lots of fun techniques that you can do to it. Now this is you get a stand from GW that clamps them down in place. That's true, but then I would have to buy something from GW, and besides the known oil, I'm not a fan of the company, but I say that with a GW thing in the background right there. Yeah, I started off with them actually when I first started painting, but not my favorite paints, not my favorite applications, and all that stuff. But I know what you're talking about. Even then, it's still a little awkward holding it like this just to kind of get all around. But I might have to invest in one. So I'm sure the Skodire that are coming out are no better. I for one wish the bases weren't attached. It's a paint stand, yeah. Oh, it's like a stand. I might have to look into that though. That's a thing to put on my birthday list. There you go. Get on the other sides here. When you watch me paint live, you realize how much I cut out when I'm painting. It's for my painting videos. I'm just like, okay, let's cut me meandering and figuring things out, so I don't ramble for an hour. And we're just looking for a nice solid coat. We are of course going to be layering over this, so we don't need to go hog wild, but you definitely want to make sure the lower areas and the recesses are all filled in for the maximum effect. We're doing this layer first, and then we'll be kind of working around it. So if you get a little messy, don't worry, we'll be covering it up. So don't freak out. What's the secret of keeping your paint stations clean? There is no secret. I am a horrendously messy painter. Let's see here if I can zoom out on this. Like, this is my paint station. Again, I use editing magic to make you think I'm cleaner than I am, but this is after I've cleaned it up. Uh, yeah, I'm notoriously messy. I usually come back in after a painting session and look like I got into war with my paint bottles. And I'm just kind of inherently absent-minded, so I'll just be talking and pour into my hand or into my workstation. But yeah, so I guess the key is just to clean up after you made a mess. I like having a good set of organizational things in place. And I don't have a system at all. I got this thing from Monument Hobbies, which is really nice, which keeps a lot of my paints in. That's about 25% of my paints that I readily use. I got a lot of paints. It's if you're looking to build up a paint collection, it really helps just to buy a single or two every month. Just try different brands. You may like things or discover brands that do things better. So I'm not a brand loyalist. I try to just get the things that I enjoy the most. that are the most affordable. I'm definitely will admit I'm a pro acrylic stan though. I do like their paints. I like their colors and their coverage. So I've been using them, but thankfully Army Painter just updated their Fanatic line. That's the stuff that that's in the Heroscape paint kit they're offering. It's a really good paint. That's what I'm currently using now. They have lots of colors and good coverage, which is always nice. I don't do a lot of mixing of paints, um, just because I'm not a big ratio guy. I don't like telling people. Well, I don't do a lot of mixing of paints for my video, just because I'm not really good at ratios. I'm more just like, oh, this looks good enough for the color I want. So it's hard for me to explain that. Let's see. Do we want to put any more of this here? Have I ever done any custom Heroscape figures or terrain? I'm not much of a terrain guy. I've there's a creator, what's Escape Creations, I believe, um, that has been making some Morrow terrain. I've been messing around with that. Um, when I was with NGC, I did some like custom stuff, um, kind of for their art and their painting. That was like a custom Heroscape group. Uh, like, let's see here, like some stuff like this, kind of 3D prints and stuff like that. But like designed it. I do have like a lot of custom Heroscape cards. I would love to go through some point. I have a whole folder of over like 65 custom cards I made that I never figured out how to post onto Heroscapers. So I have a pretty good collection of cards I used. That was just testing. It really was just fun and actually what kind of got me into design and painting and graphics and stuff like that. So I don't know if they're good cards. I would have to go through and review them because I haven't looked at them in a while. But I have made a lot over the years. Oh, that's Gun's cat skateboard. Oh, perfect. I get people's names mixed up. There's people's real names and usernames, and but yeah, I have painted some of the model terrain. I wasn't happy. I was trying a new look on them. Let's see if I can get it real fast without ruining things. I try to keep most of my stuff nearby. Yeah, here's some of the terrain I was working on. I was trying to use pigments as a new method, but I wasn't fully happy with the results. I think I would just use my standard kind of wash formula or kind of oil washes on it because it's almost there. I did these very fast as well, just as a test run, but they're pretty cool. I definitely recommend them. Once I get a once I once I figure out a better formula, I'll definitely make a video on painting those. But I'm not happy with how they currently look. They need a little bit of highlights or oomph on them, and I just haven't had time to figure it out. I'm very close to figuring out the key tomorrow. I feel like I'm 90% there to having a really almost perfect, maybe even better Morrow formula, but that last 10% has been evading me for a bit now. I'm trying to remember what the Iron Lich looks like. I should probably pull up a picture of it. Yeah, I saw the poll one for yellow, and I was like, ah, gotta paint yellow again. It's not a problem. It's just a bit of layering. Okay, so his chest plate area is that as well. And the tips of his. All right, let's get some more paint on the palette. use the nuclear sunset for tomorrow. That's really good. Yeah, use that mixed with a bit of brown and red, like a small bit, and thin it down. That works pretty good. I find that it kind of sometimes stains it a bit too much for me. So I'm like trying to avoid that staining. I think the only way to do it fully is with oil washes or some kind of reductive technique that we were talking about. I think that's the best way. I just haven't figured out the right formulation for it. But speed paints are a really great application for it as well. I say go crazy for the Lich. Yes. I can just keep it like this. This would intimidate my opponents. This hot pink menace on the field. I'm halfway tempted just because I'm spending so much time layering it up. It's just a big model, and I'm also talking. If I wasn't talking, I could probably do this 3 times as fast. But I enjoy the company. I've been wanting to go live just because I've been missing talking to my fellow scapers. So I'm enjoying this. I get sometimes in my head before I go live. It's sometimes a bit so I'm naturally kind of an introvert. So I'm always just kind of overthink things before I go live. But I'm liking how the phone's looking. It's I I was a little skeptical about it, but I figured out how to turn my phone into a webcam, and it just has a better focal range than my fancy camera does. The camera's really great for cool shots and stuff like that, and it's good for recording because I can shoot up to 6K with it and downscale it. Uh, but for live streaming, I'm definitely going to start using the phone camera. I'm really liking the focal range on it. It's nice and close, which is nice. It is kind of right in front of my purview. That's the only downside, but I think if you don't mind an occasional camera shake, then I think we should be good. Plan on making the Lich a dark gray with glowing dark blue. See, that sounds so cool. I wanted to do some fun stuff for the Lich. If I get another one, I'll definitely make it more more vibrant. There's just a lot of fun things you can do with this. But unfortunately, I put this up to a community vote, and everyone said they wanted to learn how to paint the classic yellow, which just means I have to spend a lot of time prepping. I love working with, I think green's my favorite color to work with. I painted the Hellforge instead of like a nice green, kind of I guess some people say like a Doom or Master Chief kind of colors. Just really kind of vibrant. Made it look like a garbage truck was my plan. Um, and I love just working with those colors. Nice grungy green is always fun. Okay, let's just get these. I might go back through and layer some of this silver, but I'm not sure yet. I'm just kind of discovering the model as I'm working on it. But glowing dark blue sounds really cool. Would that be like the elements of like the gun, or what part would be glowing? This part right here is a booger. You want to make sure you hit the undersides, as especially when you base coat in white, it will be very noticeable if you don't get it. And this is probably the one area where you actually want to have full coverage is, I'm just giving full coverage to everything just because I'm still kind of figuring this out in my head. But you want these undersides to definitely be darker and more filled in. There we go. Just actually had to look at what I was doing for a second. Yeah, the live stream is nice. I'm currently caught up on editing editing hell. I just have so much projects I don't even have room for any more footage. But this is the last guy from Wave 2, so I was like, I want to get this guy done. I'll make a separate thing about him, but I'm doing the eyes and X. Pretty much, if you can do the eyes and X, you can do the Lich. They're pretty much the same principle. Again, if you have pink primer, just prime this whole thing pink like this. Save you a whole lot of time. I know various companies make color primer. I like using color primer. Some people are against it. I find for things like this, it saves me so much time. I know Games Workshop and Army Painter both have some good ones to use. But if not, just use a big brush and find some people to talk to while you do this. This is the boring, tedious part. It's going to get cooler in a second. And now you may be wondering why I'm not just using yellow. It's because I am establishing the shadows. I am using a bit of color theory, as we'll find out, to really kind of make my yellows appear more solid and kind of impactful. Pretty much pink is a good opposite of yellow. So by doing this, by working in contrast, we're able to kind of accentuate the shadows by using some thin down paint. Because yellow, I don't want to do this and apply like 20 layers to it with yellow. It's such a fickle color. It is a unstable color. Even if you use like the good stuff with high density, this is just it's a fun, solid way to make yellow kind of catch the eye. Again, I'm not. These undersides here. There we go. That's why I don't have my paint palette near there. Nothing worse than doing all that and having it fall onto your paint palette. So we're going to let this dry for a second here. I'm going to just go through and make sure I didn't miss any important areas. Which, of course, I did as soon as I look away from it. Let's see. Do I want anything else yellow? Do I want these probably here? To probably be that. If I don't finish this today, since it's getting a bit late, maybe I'll keep on painting this next couple of days. It's been torturous. Renegade sent me the Wave 3 stuff, but they want me to hold off unto the mini Mondays to paint them. So they've just been sitting there, even though I already kind of painted a couple that I could have as much as I could. So I'm definitely excited about those units. Some fun stuff in there. Kind of play tested them all. The bears, not super impressed with, but I don't think I did a good build with them. And Halucia was really good, and Sunland was unique. It was kind of a tricky unit, but I could see it being really strong if used smartly in the right formats. I am impressed just by how detailed these models are compared to the classic scape. It's both a blessing and a curse because there's a lot more you can do, but there's also more you have to do. I don't know how I feel about the commons yet. I really hope they're not as detailed as these guys are, as I don't want to paint like 12 Tanukis like this, but I guess time will tell. I might become more of a fan of speed paints depending on how the commons turn out. I'm really excited for this Renegade Con. I think it's gonna be a really good one. It's cool. Board Hero got to paint the Air Marshal, Zed Nesbitt. A little bit jealous. Excited for to see their work though. They do a lot of really good. It's another YouTuber. They do a lot of really good speed paint work, which is I'm happy for. It's kind of a I think it's good to have a variety of techniques out there. I tend to focus more lately on kind of longer form painting techniques, kind of building skill and and focusing more on just getting the figure painted. I'm not lying where I just really like this pink. Like I'm halfway tempted just to keep it. Just because I don't have a lot of pink things in the field. But probably won't do that. All bear army all the time. Yeah, bears are really cool. My brother-in-law really likes running the bears. But although he likes running the bears, but he lately has been getting into oh the samurai. What's the really good samurai? Kato Katsuro. I always get them all mixed up. The one that can double shoot. I'm gonna lose my escape card because I can't remember. Is it Hanamato Taro? I don't. No, that's the flag bearer. It's Katsuro. It's the archer samurai. He's been running him a lot to great success. Am I planning on redoing the new Drake at all? I actually have already redone it because I wasn't happy with the paint job. So there we go. This is a simple paint job, make him stand out in the battlefield. Um, but yeah, that's definitely one that I actually plan on redoing all the promos. So I've done pretty much all of them so far. Q11 is one that gives me pause on that because I think it looks pretty good as is. But but if I get my hands on two, I probably will paint both of them as well, just to say I painted them all. Especially for Thyraxis, uh, I feel like I'll be painting that one a lot. But yeah, I plan on redoing all the promos, all the stuff, just because I like to paint. And now, while the pre-painteds are serviceable, they're not. It's not hard to make them look a little bit better. And that's nothing against the models. I think for the most part, they're all pretty good, except for the bears. I do not like the bears' paint job. I think them not having the noses really, the painted noses really takes away from their presence. Okay, let's see here. I think we're about good with this layer here. Doesn't look like much now. Looks like I'm a sloppy painter, but think we'll be able to build it up. I just keep on finding little details I want to make yellow. And I want to go back and do them, so. I'm going to keep all that. The inside, just silver. Maybe because I don't want to mess with it. I actually initially did it when I painted it, but I was honestly trying to copy the card art, and it wasn't fire effects. It was just looking at the ground explosion. So actually, when I painted it, I did paint it with fire effects, but I think I just got a bit lazy. I was like, I don't want to blend this, so I just kind of just made it ground effects afterwards. But I've seen some other people do the fire effects, and it does look cool, and it's filled me with maybe I need to go back and do some on it. Um, but I'm happy with the ground as well. It's subtle. I like it because I can kind of add a little bit OSL from the fire in the back. It's just a little bit more subtle. I didn't really want to do it on the smoke and his legs, and so I figured it'd just be a smaller, subtler effect. But it did look pretty cool. It adds a bit more vibrancy to the model. So I definitely agree with you. Yeah, this is the most mundane part of this painting. We can do the fun stuff pretty soon. Okay. Okay. We're gonna let that dry for a second. That's what we're looking at here. Nice solid pink coat. It's not perfect. We're gonna fill this in with some more color and contrast, but this is getting us our base established. Yeah, I don't want to do any other colors until this dries, until we dry brush it, just because I don't want to have to go back and do it twice. And let me see where I put my ivory at. You want to use a nice warm white for this, just so it can warm yellows kind of blend better with if you keep them warmer. But let's see if I can find where I put it at here. Always losing my stuff. So back to the basing question. Are you planning on doing it for any of them, like rocks and sand? Oh, that's what you're referring to. Yeah, I've done it with all of them so far. So just like texture paste or just basic stuff. So I've done it on all of them so far. I like the texture paste a bit better than the sand, just in the flocking. Um, yeah, it's not bad. You got like snow for the polar bears. So I don't like the plain brown bases, and I did try to rebase a couple of them, and yeah, that was a nightmare. It's just a lot of work. A lot of them are pre-molded onto the base. They're not like on pegs or anything like that. So I gotta fix up the bases. Well, also just to be honest, doing basing and stuff like that is my least favorite part of the process. I like painting the mini, but I don't like basing because I just want to be done at that point. That's more my impatience coming through. But I also don't like the plain brown bases. I wish they had some texture or something basic on it. 'Cause I hate messing with glue. But yeah, so I do plan on doing it for all of them. Where is my ivory? I just had this in my hand. Transparent white. It's hiding from me somewhere. It's not put my paints off. Oh, there we go. There's my ivory. And we're going to put this onto not our wet palette, but a dry palette. Get these things from Dollar Tree. They are the best because you can have your old stuff in it and they just pop right off. Alternatively, I've seen people use like white poppets, but I haven't been able to find a white one. Oh, there we go. That's fallen off. If you'll hold me a second while I save my paints. All right. There we go. That could have been disastrous. That's the stuff you get to see live right there. All right, we're still good. Wooden dock base. Oh, that sounds really interesting for basing the pirates. Yeah, basing's definitely an area I'd like to improve more on. I'm decent at it, but I don't feel like I'm exceptional at it. All right, so we're going to use this flat brush here just to cover a wider surface area and get a bit of scratchy texture on it here. And we're just going to remove the excess. Using this warm white. Now we're going to heavily dry brush this. Just really trying to go against the grain, capture all these raised surfaces. A bit of innate texture to this model while we're going around. But with dry brushing, yeah, it's a fun skill to have on your litany. It's the easiest way to blend colors and build up colors. There's a bit of an art to it, just so you don't, nothing worse than starting to dry brush and you overdo it and you really just kind of just add too much color to the model. It's hard to kind of walk back from that. All right, let's do this. I'm going to mix a bit of white into it. It's not as light as I wanted. For maximum effect, you definitely want this. I'm going to use actually Vampire Fang from Tooth and Coats, which is about the same color, but slightly brighter. Okay. Actually, I think it's slightly darker. All right, just gonna mix a bit of bull titanium white into it. But wooden docks or the pirates does sound really, really cool. I guess that would be more of a freehand thing. I think you would probably have to freehand the texture, unless there's some. I don't know if there's any flocking for it, but I was tempted. I wanted to finish them all, but maybe for the dreadnoughts, I'll do a bit of a resin water kind of beach base. I might be tempted to do that. I've been trying to figure out those effects out for a bit. Okay, there we go. make it just a tiny bit brighter so it shows through more strong. You could take a couple passes over with dry brush just to really increase the vibrancy of it. Definitely don't overdo it though, but see, we're looking for this texture grain right here. Like that's really gonna show through in the finished work. There's just a lot of angles, so the Iron Lich. And we want this to be pretty heavy. Should be about 60% white. Maybe not that much, maybe 40% white. Enough the color show through, but we want this brightness to show through in the contrast. Get the undersides. That's why the Eisenachs are so fun. You can be a bit messy with them. See, we can already tell we're getting into this really interesting kind of gradient. This contrast is what we're really working to build up here. We plan on removing them from the base and put them on a new one. Ah, yeah, that makes more sense. I was like, I don't envy the person who wants to freehand the planks on all the pirates. To put it on a wood base makes a lot more sense. Okay. So now we are going to move on to the first layer of the speed paints. I'm going to use Ancient Honey, which is kind of a nice warm orange. Definitely make sure whenever you use speed paints to mix them up. And we are just going to apply this. Not using our good brush, the workhorse brush. Maybe mix just to thin it down just a tiny bit. If you have any speed paint medium, that is a good way to get more of a glazing effect on it. But let's see here. Do I have any on hand? I'll just use a bit of water from my cup just to dilute it, just because this is a thick one. And now we are utilizing this contrast and this contrasting tone to really create this warm orange. We are not going to stop here though, but this is our first of the speed coat layers. Maybe didn't go bright enough with my speed paint, but that's okay. With my highlights, probably should have done more of a pure white. We could fix that. Again, we're just establishing the midtones at this point. Now that hard work we did is going to pay off. Now this is creating a nice orangish yellow for us. We're going to bring this up to bright yellow after this. We might have to stop after this point though, just because I'm going to have to wait for this to dry for a bit. And I don't think it will dry in time. See how that faint texture is showing through. And again, you just want to make sure you hit all of that. The tops, the bottoms. What am I doing so late? Joe, you know me, I never sleep. I usually just am courteous to other people and don't stream at this hour. But after I set it all up for like an hour, I was like, oh, might as well. I don't want to edit this later, so I'll let the live stream just edit it. But we've had a pretty good crowd tonight. We're just using some kind of fun techniques to get this yellow going. Now, what are you working on, Joe? You know how it is. It's you have that schedule. You need to make a video no matter what, and you're like, all right, well, I guess I'm going to go live just so I don't have to edit later. Even though I'll probably still do something with this later. It's kind of a macaroni yellow at this point. Varks and Greyspear. Ooh, those are fun. Which ones did I paint? The storm ones. I forget what they're called. The storm cloud. The black ones. Those ones are pain to paint. Well, Varks are just hard to paint as is, just because there's like so many different versions of them. It's hard knowing like which one to choose on. Like the ones they have on the Heroscaper site are just like not very. It seems like they're like the not painted ones. Like it's just something weird about them. But then you look at the official art, and it's hard to kind of find what to do. And Beatdown says, "I think I'm gonna finish my dragon up. All I have left to do is her wings." Oh, Zinithrax? Yeah, that's the wings are the most fun part of the dragon. So, just some dry brushing, some color. Are you doing the classic scheme, or are you doing your own colors for it? And then Joe Crazy says the upload schedule. Right, yeah, I got one of those. Well, I know you have ambitions for an upload schedule, so I gotta talk to you. I actually have some video ideas I wanna make with you, Joe. Um, so I'll be in touch, but I know you're crazy right now, so no worries. And we got Night Irene next to paint. I was thinking doing her pants as a green brown camo. Ooh, that's a fun idea. I think anything to separate the bears apart, I think, is a good idea. It's tough for the position I'm in because like I don't want to do like official colors half the time, but I also want to help people out that want to do official colors. So it's kind of has me in a weird spot. So it just ended up with me buying multiple masters. It's um my work here is never done, but for the most part, I don't hate much of the official colors. I think the worst offenders are the familiars. I hate how they're just kind of brown. They don't look like magic space animals, you know? Like I wish they had some fun colorizations on them. The brown is just a bit it's a bit mundane. And then I don't like the colors of the exiles just because personally it's hard to balance all those greens to make them stand out. I wish they had more of a red theme to them to contrast that red and green. Um, and red blades are fun to paint. Um, and the silver scimitars are good. They're not my favorite units to paint. But everything else is pretty good. Oh, Zenithrax. I'm not a fan of the yellow body, but I've grown to like it as time went by. I'm trying to think of anything else I don't like. Yeah, everything else is pretty even keel. Always time to start planning. I love to try doing camo on some figures. Really, it's just an excuse, Joe, because I miss hanging out with you. Won't be going to ScapeCon this year, so because it filled up so fast, and it was earlier for the payment, so I was still like, oh, I'm paying for Christmas. I don't think I'll have enough for ScapeCon, although I really wanted to go. So in that case, I'm going to try to go to Gen Con as my big trip this year. But yeah, you're you're one cool dude. All right. But camo's fun. Camo's a fun thing to paint. I've never I don't paint much camo. I just haven't really entered that like area of painting things, but I've seen some people kind of paint uh just like watching people paint like bolt action and stuff like that. And it's pretty fun. Fun to watch. Okay, again, this doesn't look really good. That's because we ain't done yet. We haven't done all the finishing details. What time is it? 6:30. Okay, anything else in the works I want to do? This is going to be drying for a bit. So see here, like I'm just going to put a little bit of this on. Observe this color and that color. This is a much more deeper and richer color. And then once we add the additional layers, see how it's kind of splotchy and see-through? I really want this thing to be nice and have nice solid coverage. So we're going to be using next time maybe I stream, I'll be working on using some transparent yellow from Pro Acryl, which is a really strong, vibrant yellow. And pretty much we'll have the highlights, midtones, and shadows all kind of built in. And then we can maybe do some edge highlighting on this yellow to really build it up. And oh yeah, not going to skip. I saw Tails is going, but you know, he has to. I think it's required, but he lives a little bit closer as well, so it's a bit easier. An 8-hour trip is far. I'm halfway tempted to go to Hexacon. Like I really want to I just kind of want to play some games. I've been getting the itch lately. I want to show off all my painted figures. You know, I want to lose but in style. I think. Let's see here. Get all. There's just so many corners on this model. You're always going back and forth. How long have I done this for? About an hour. I mean, I got people in chat. I don't mind. Keep on painting. Let's see if I got anything else here I can work on. Let's see. Any request from chat what I should paint next? I have some stuff from Age of Annihilation still kicking around. If anyone's interested in that. If not, I can probably close it out. I probably got 30 minutes left in me. Or just wait for this to dry and just talk. But let's see here if I got anything I want to work on. Let's see here. If I had some glue, I'd finish up my my dwarves, but those are I don't got any good glue. I know we got some people painting bears in the chat, so let's get some blue bears going. Get the rest of these guys finished, just for maybe a couple minutes, just to buy some paint time. I Let's see here. So my favorite blue to use with the bears is True Blue from Vallejo. Have I done the cats? Oh, Raylan's cat? I have, but I have a spare here I could certainly paint. Could certainly paint that as well. Where is my... Actually, my Raylan cat does need a bit of touch-ups now I think about it. I made a winter variant. Now the question is, what color should I paint this one? Classic colors. So I have a plan for Lich. Could you elaborate what you meant that there's see-through yellow? So this is a type of paint from ProCro called transparent yellow. Yellows are inherently transparent when they come out of the bottle. Just because it's such a thin light color. So when you do it, notice how it's inherently see-through. So any colors and stuff that underneath will show through. So it's slightly transparent. Pretty much more colors, more pigments color has, the stronger it's applied. Like blues are very strong colors. I can find a blue. Most blue have a high pigmentation, so they don't come through as transparent. If I can find the blue I'm using. So they cover really well, but you have to thin them to get a bit of a transparency on them. Let's see here. Now I'm just freestyling looking for things. Snow White. I could probably paint another Snow White one. Use it as a giveaway maybe. Or you just touch up the one I have. It's not 100% finished yet. I have everything else on hand except for that one. There we go. So this is my Snow White Raylan right here. So it's got a little bit of touch-ups I still have to do. The stripes are a little bit messy, and the wings need a bit more done. But I kind of imagined if Raylan was good, I could certainly probably do it again better. I could probably give some tips on it. So I have here is an acrylic marker. If you're looking for really good, simple straight lines, you know, you could just use the tip of this marker and sketch them out. A lot easier, a lot more control compared to, you know, a brush. Just don't press down too hardly on it. But these are real colors from AK-47. I've been using them, and they've been great for detail work. Nice solid coverage, dries fast. So not bad at all. So that's if you're looking to make the stripes a bit easier, or for other things like I'm still kind of fine-tuning this here, but if you want some like caution stripes on your Hellforge, this is a really great tool to do that. Yeah, EscapeCon is really fun. I'm sad I couldn't go this year, but it filled up. It had 6 more people than last year, and it's just filled up. This might actually be dry by the time I got me distracted. But yeah, it's a bunch of fun. If you live close to Indiana or want to make the trek, it's definitely worth it. You kind of get to put a lot of faces to the people you see online. And yeah, I had a great time last time I went. But this year I'm gonna try to go to Gen Con. I just don't want to get sick. That's my main thing. But I got sick at EscapeCon, so I guess no matter where I go, it'll probably happen. Yeah, but no, the paint markers are really great. I recommend them for the small detail stuff. But if not, honestly, you can just use Sharpies as well. If you're a bit careful with it, it doesn't work as good. Okay, so now we're just going to use a pure white and heavily dry brush over this. I think we're dry. I don't notice any smudging. It's kind of funny we did all this work just to kind of end back up where we started. And we're applying this on really heavily. But maybe I'll make a separate video on how to paint Snow Raylan, and I think that's a fun one. There's already a good video the from Renegade on how to paint a classic Raylan. I honestly don't want to. I'm happy with how the pre-painted classic Raylan looks. So I'll paint the Snow Raylan again and use it as a giveaway for those who want it. Haven't done one in a bit, mainly because I'm still recovering from Christmas. We had some good winners from my last one. Actually, I had a friend of mine who's starting to get into Escape get like the starter package. He commented on my last giveaway video, so he got a bunch of like just old figs to add to his collection. And someone got a Hellforge, and some people had stickers. And, not a Hellforge, the Iron Lich pack. So I'll do another one, some extras I have. That's what happens when you do a little bit too strong dry brush right there. I think we should be good. I can cover from that. Now this is, some people call this chop chop, where you just kind of build up these thin layers, or double dry brush. It's a really fun technique. If you are looking to use a lot of speed paint, you can definitely use this to really increase kind of the vibrancy and the coverage of your model. And we're just applying this really heavily on. You say Indiana? Yeah, you want it. Oh, you want the Raylan? Yeah, definitely. Well, maybe you can win it that way, or I mean, if you're the only one who wants it, I'd be happy to sell and trade it to you as well. If you live in the States, you can certainly contact me afterwards if you really want it. Bum, bum, bum. I have too many figures of. I currently have the pre-painted Zenithrax, two Zenithrax from the master sets, and an extra one. I still just haven't painted what that was from the Renegade. So I have a lot of Zenithrax and nowhere to keep them all. So I plan on painting that one in the classic AOA color schemes and giving that one away. Do I only stream here? Yeah, for now I just stream on YouTube. I don't stream on Twitch. I used to have a Twitch channel and did stuff, but it just wasn't fully enjoyable for the work I was doing. I like to keep it pretty small and pretty local. Just because I like to I'm nervous of big crowds, but I like talking to people as well. How do we contact you? You can contact me on Discord or Facebook or Instagram. Uh, or my email. They're all on my channel page. You can definitely check them all out there. And okay, so we are taking this contrast paint here, and we're going to thin it down a bit with some water, just so it doesn't come out so thick. So a nice transparent look to it. And now if we did this all right, it should look really nice, strong when we apply it on. If you use just plain yellow straight out of the bottle, you wouldn't get all these subtle little shadows and things showing through. Just notice how bright and vibrant that is. This is the most satisfying step here. Now I might go through and darken this down with some strong tone just to kind of make it look a bit more grimy after this all dries. But I like starting from this nice bright yellow to gives me a lot of room just to kind of work around with. You'll for sure hit me up for the snow cat. Oh yeah, I'd be happy to help out with that. I'll paint the new one fresh for you, and and we can work something out. See, I'm the person who takes the longest with speed paints. I certainly don't apply the speed property to them, but I do just like working this up with this strong yellow. It's not for everything, you know. Actually, been lately just been using a lot more ochres for yellow, kind of like brownish yellows and build up. That's usually how I do it, but I've been kind of experimenting with this for a bit, and I've been pretty happy with the results. Of course, when I go through, clean it up, and once we add the dark metallics, this will even appear even more prominent. Okay, and I think that should be it for tonight. I'll definitely be doing this more regularly. I'll try to finish this whole thing on stream and refrain from painting on my own time. Except maybe some base coding, just so we don't have to watch that for an hour. Um, so we can work on the more fun things. There we go. Yeah, so once this dries, I'm going to add a brown wash to it and then add some edge highlights to this area just to really add some distinction. Um, and kind of just direct the eye in this, but it's its contrast really adds some really unique shading to the process. Um, because pink shadows, purple shadows for yellow is a really great way just to kind of use a bit of color theory to kind of maximize your output. All right, well, I think that should be it for me tonight. I don't know what else I got planned, but probably involves watching The Sopranos. So I haven't watched that yet, so I've just gotten into it. But again, be sure to subscribe if you haven't, and if you have any questions, be sure to leave a comment. I like to collect those and do kind of a big question mailbag when I gather enough. So I try to read all those and respond to them as best as can. And if you have if you're looking to get some skip of your own, we do got an affiliate link in the description below. You can help support the channel and just get some awesome iron liches of your own to add to your collection. Paint up with me. And with that, I just thank everyone for joining in, and just keep on scaping on. Yeah, thanks so much, Joe Crazy, for swinging by. Always a pleasure. Thanks to everyone else in chat. It's been a really great time. Good getting back into it, and hope to be doing this more regularly. So you all take care now.